So I did something, I just couldn't wait any longer. I started planting some of the vegetables out at the allotments. Yep, I know what you're thinking, really early days yet, but don't worry, I've not gone and planted all my tender stuff out yet. It's going to be at least the middle of May before I start doing that. What I have started doing though is planting out some of the hardier things, because things have started warming up a little bit now. We're still getting some cold nights, but nothing that the crops which I planted out can't handle. I'll show you what I've planted in a minute. I've done some direct sowing as well, and planted some plants outside too. I've done loads of other stuff as well actually, which I'll also show you. In the greenhouse, I've done loads of sowing in there. Didn't film it though, because I just sort of wanted to get stuck in, to be honest. I had a bit of time the other day where I just got stuck in and did loads of sowing. It takes time to film doing things like that, and sometimes I just need to crack on and get stuff done. Anyway, the weather's turned a little bit more wet lately. These last few days we've had a bit of rain. We did have a good couple of weeks of dry, frosty weather, so I suppose it was welcomed really. I wasn't too bothered about it. It's not like we've had a deluge though. It's not absolutely poured it down. It's just, things are just a bit damp. I was a bit worried actually that with that we'd have slugs coming out and eggs hatching, but actually there doesn't seem to be any slug damage on the things I've planted out yet, so that's a good sign. Clearly slug populations are lower this year, but I think that's just down to the fact we've had loads of dry weather recently. Okay, I'm going to stop talking now and we're going to have a look at what we've been doing over the last few days. Okay, so I just couldn't help myself, could I? I couldn't wait any longer to get some planting out, but it's okay. The things which we've planted will manage just fine. I always plant these out about the same time every year, end of March, and they do usually sulk for a week or two and then they start to pick up. Of course, that is the onions. We've planted most of them out now, I think. I'll probably plant some more in this bed here. We do have some more there. We've got some spares in the greenhouse as well, because we may lose a few. I think the main reason for losing a few is going to be the slugs. I've also noticed that something keeps digging in all the corners of the bed and digging all the onions out as well, which is a real pain. Like, this has just happened whilst filming. Look at that, this keeps happening every time I come down. Something, blackbird I think, keeps digging, always in the corners of the beds for some reason, keeps digging them out. Really, really irritating. It's only a problem whilst they're small. When they get a bit bigger, they're not gonna, it's okay. But what they keep making a right mess. And now that things are warming up quite a bit, the red ants are back in town, causing problems. Yeah, they seem to be making nests everywhere, especially the raised beds. They are everywhere. The raised beds are going to be ideal for them, so that might be a problem this year because the entire allotment is raised beds. So they're going to be making nests everywhere, especially on the edges of the beds where it's drier. They're all over this one. Yeah, so what I'm going to do, I think, I've got a big bag of diatomaceous earth in the shed. When we have some dry weather, it's been a bit damp at the moment, so it doesn't really work when it's damp. It has to be dry, because how it works is the abrasive nature of the diatomaceous earth actually scratches the exoskeleton of the ant and dries it out and kills it. So I'm going to be sprinkling diatomaceous earth around all of the edges of the raised beds eventually when we have some dry weather forecast, to hopefully get rid of them, because honestly they're just everywhere. They're in there as well. Yeah. And they build nests incredibly fast as well. I put a tray of seedlings down here. It was over there. That tray of onion seedlings. I put it down on the bed the other day. And about 2 days later, I came back and I removed it. And there was an ant nest directly underneath this container. In literally just a couple of days, they built a nest under there. It really is crazy how fast they build nests. So we've got our Dutch onions over there, which is called Rijnsburger, if I'm pronouncing that correctly. And we have our red magnate onions there in the middle. They are sulking a bit, like I said before. Yeah, they don't look that great. Pretty much the same as when I stuck them in, really. Yeah, they're just really small at the moment. But in June last year, I'm not joking, this is what my onions look like. The summer was so bad that we only got a few onions and we got them really late as well. This is how they looked like last June. It was ridiculous. We have our Ailsa Craig onions here in this big bed. I've planted them about 6 inches apart as well. You can plant them a bit closer together, but I want to get some bigger onions. I've gone with 6 inches spacing for all of them. And we've also planted the leeks as well, Musselburgh leeks here. I'm a bit worried that these are going to bolt, actually, to be honest. I did start them a bit early, and we're having some cold nights as well, so they may bolt. But if they do, it isn't the end of the world, because I've got some here which I've direct sown at the end as well, which I'll probably separate once they get a bit bigger, and I'll plant them in this part of the bed here. So we're going to see the difference between the earlier sowing and planting here and the later sowing here. We'll see if any of them bolt. It will be interesting to see whether or not the earlier sowings will bolt or not. So that's the onions planted over there. Let's go over here. We've planted the beetroot outside as well. I've direct sown some, and I've also planted out some of the module sown ones as well. They are only small. They're only just getting their first set of true leaves. But I just wanted to get them out, and I think they'll be okay. They're quite cold hardy as well. You can barely even see them, to be honest. They're that small. I've given plenty of spacing because I want to grow these into quite large beetroots, really. I want these nice big ones. And we've direct sown some over here as well. We've got the stripy beetroot, and we've also got different colours, to be honest. Loads of mixed beetroot colours. Something's been digging over here. I'm finding this a lot, really, actually. And I've also planted some of these lovely orange or golden beetroot over here as well. So I've direct sown some, and I've planted some of the module sown ones too. Only small yet, but I'm sure in the coming weeks they will perk up. Okay, in the salad beds, which are a bit shaded, I've chosen this area purposely because it's the shadiest part of the plot. We've direct sown some red chard. It's actually bright lights, which is mixed colours of red chard. I've sown some spinach, some mustard and some rocket as well. I want to grow plenty of these salad leaves this year for lovely salad mixes in the summer. And we've also planted out the mixed lettuce as well in this bed here. I was very worried about the slugs, to be honest with you. But to be honest, there doesn't seem to be any slug damage anywhere. I have put a few of these pellets down, organic pellets. The only time I'll ever use them is things like this. I'm going to be using slug traps with beer or yeast this year. This is just simply because lettuce is, you know, it's very prone to slug damage, but I've not seen anything yet. And I planted these out, when was it? Gosh, 4 days ago, 5 days ago now, and nothing at all yet. So yeah, these are really nice lettuce leaves as well. There's different ones here: Cause, Iceberg, Lola Rosso, Oak Leaf, Baby Gem. There's a few different ones there. I'll just quickly show you these as well. You may be wondering what they are. I took some red currant bush cuttings last year, end of last year, into autumn, and I popped them in the soil here, and they've actually started to root. So I'm going to dig these up and plant them somewhere on the plot, I think. We've already got quite a few black currant and red currant bushes anyway, but I want to grow some more, and yeah, they seem to be doing quite well, those. And I've also sown a bed of carrots as well, direct. I've sown some early Nance, some early pickings of carrots. And I've also sown some mixed colours as well. Some of them purple ones, white ones, yellow ones, and of course the orange ones. I've direct sowed those in here a few days ago in rows. Same bed that I sowed carrots in last year as well. It's quite loose and sandy, this soil actually. Doesn't look too sandy, but it is very loose. I'm not adding any nutrients to it at all. I'm literally just leaving it as it is, same as last year. Because if you give carrots a rich soil, they can split, they can fork, they can start going all mangled, and because of those nutrients they'll start searching for it, and the roots will start growing all over the place. So you want it to be loose so the roots can grow easily through the soil, but also not too nutrient dense either. We're going to get the netting over the top as soon as they emerge, actually, really pretty soon, because the carrot root fly will be in there really fast, I think. Elephant garlic seems to be growing quite happily now, actually. They are only small yet, but there was no signs of these just a few weeks ago, and now suddenly they're all starting to grow. So that's good. Maybe we will get some elephant garlic this year. We've got loads of garlic in the little polytunnel as well, really. I planted a lot of the smaller cloves last year, and my plan is to use these as green garlic and then harvest the rest as bulbs, and they're looking really well. We do have our other garlic in the small greenhouse though, and that stuff looks good as well. That'll be our bulb harvest, but this stuff's more green garlic really. I placed the rat traps in here as well, just to see if we catch anything, and I actually caught a mouse yesterday. So we've managed to catch something at least, but not the rats which I was wanting to catch. Yeah, I'm just going to leave these in here, to be honest, and see if we catch any rats, because we do want to keep the numbers down, because yeah, you know that rats are a big problem and they eat a lot of the produce, which we don't want them to do. Our garlic in the small greenhouse is looking pretty good, I think. Yeah, looks all right. Fingers crossed we get a good crop this year. Last year wasn't too bad actually for the garlic. The year before that was awful. We'll see how they do. This is actually from last year's garlic cloves. I've not bought any garlic to plant. This year though, I might buy some new varieties to plant actually, and see how they get on. These are looking pretty healthy. Now I've had a few people comment on my previous videos asking me if I have a pond, or suggesting that I build a pond on the allotment to encourage frogs so that the frogs can keep the slug populations down. And I've not really shown you the pond in my videos actually. I don't think I've included it much. But yeah, we do have these little ponds here just with these old containers. This one here though, it's gone very brittle, so that's probably not going to last much longer. But I've had them 3 years now. They've been on here quite a while. It's full of oxygenating plants, so I'm probably going to have to thin them out a little bit because they're growing quite crazy. It's full of these water snails as well, which I didn't even put in there actually. Not a clue how they got in there, but we've got water snails in there. And I do see frogs in here knocking about from time to time. No frogs born in here though. We've got these grasses as well, which grow back every year. They're okay, they're nice. And these lovely flowers that come back as well. Can't remember the name of them. Actually, no, hold on. Ah, that's it, there we go. Yellow-eyed grass. And they've actually self-seeded themselves around the perimeter as well here, so they're quite nice in the summer. It's nice yellow flowers here as well. Okay, we're in the greenhouse and this is where we've got loads of things on the go. It's looking crazy at the moment. There's loads going on. I'll just show you what I've sown these past few days and what's growing. Really exciting times. The other day I sowed some swede. I wanted to get some of them planted this year because I want to see if I can grow some swede. There's a bed which I'm going to plant them in. I've got that planned already. We've sown some more lettuce, successional sowings there, a couple of trays of them. I've also sown some more sprouts. This variety is called Catskill, a variety which Ali gifted me. I'm going to give them a go. I've sown some marigolds at the back there to go with the tomatoes. I've sown these here as well. I can't remember what the... Oh no, sorry. Yeah, I've not labelled them because they're nasturtiums. And I'm going to use those as ground cover around the allotment. For areas that don't look great, I'm going to use them for that. And for trap plants as well, to attract the aphids to them, to keep them off the other plants. I found that works quite well. I've sown some red cabbage in there. The seeds are 2 years out of date though. I've not labelled them because I'll know if they're red cabbage or not because they're red. I've sown loads of them in there to see if they germinate. They probably won't, but we'll see. We're actually growing loads of broccoli and cauliflower this year. It's the brassica which we eat the most of. Every time we go shopping, we buy it. My son loves broccoli. I mean, who doesn't? Broccoli is a lovely vegetable, but we've sown a lot of it, and cabbage. Got broccoli there and cabbage, which I sowed just a few days ago. So some more successional sowings. We've got our earliest sowings of cabbage here, which I've potted on. Looking really healthy. You saw me do that before in that snippet. And for some reason, I actually have some cauliflower. I don't remember sowing it, but there we go. Cauliflower all year round. I think I did them in January. I wasn't drunk or anything like that. I just can't remember sowing them. But we've got 4 of those there. We'll probably plant them and see if they grow. Never have much luck with cauliflower. They always end up producing tiny heads of cauliflower. Probably the weather, because they are quite sensitive to temperature fluctuations. But we're going to give them a go anyway. What have we got to lose? There are some, here are some earlier sowings of broccoli, Iron Man, which is a hybrid. We'll let those get a little bit bigger and then we'll probably pot them on as well, because they are doing quite well at the moment. Some more again, but this is Calabrese broccoli, different variety, and yeah, again, I'll probably separate them in a week or so again, just like the cabbages. Here we have more cabbages, yeah, more cabbages again, which I've potted on as well. What else have we got? Some more sprouts over here. These are, what variety are these? I can't remember. Brigitte, yeah, that's it, Brigitte, which is a new variety I've not tried before. We've got loads of them. I'll probably separate them when they get a bit bigger as well and pot them on too. And we have loads more onions. These are just spare really in case we lose some of them outside, which is inevitable. We will have to replace a few of them. They'll probably get dug up by birds or rats or eaten by slugs. Yeah, we've got Red Magnate, Elger Craig there. We've got some more of the Dutch varieties as well. We've got some more leeks here as well, actually. Don't know where we're going to stick them. We've got our sweet peas. They look quite good, don't they? They're looking quite healthy. They'll probably be going out soon, those. We sowed lots of sunflowers in these containers in the greenhouse a couple of weeks ago. And it has been warm enough in the greenhouse, unheated greenhouse by the way, for these sunflowers to germinate. So that's good. Really good stuff. We're growing loads of sunflowers this year. I've planted about 50 of them. There's quite a few more at home as well. And yeah, there's no fancy editing there. I've not used CGI to generate these. They are exactly what you think they are. They are peppers and tomatoes in the greenhouse. I am 100% expecting to lose these. These are literally just guinea pig plants. I'm just bringing them down to the greenhouse just to see how they cope with the cold nights and things. And I'm going to see if the greenhouse is warm enough to grow them. We've got literally about 50 pepper plants at home, and we've got loads of these tomato plants as well. So I'm not too bothered if we lose them at all. This is literally just an experiment, just for fun. We've also got these cornflowers as well, which I sowed a few weeks back. And look how healthy they are. They look good. We're just going to throw these around the allotment somewhere for a bit of colour. It looks like the purple sprouting broccoli is starting to produce something, so that's good. I can probably pick those now actually, to be honest, although there's not enough for tea. But it looks like it is trying to send out more. There's quite a few shoots coming off down there, so that is good. This one looks pretty healthy as well. There's plenty of shoots appearing there. Still early days yet. I think we'll be picking some of these in April. Definitely. Potatoes are still on the bottom shelf down here, out of the way where it's a bit cooler and a bit out of the direct sunlight. And the chits are growing pretty well. Only small yet, but I think we'll be planting these in the next week. I think I said that last week, to be honest, but I'm still waiting yet to get them planted. I may start the early ones this next week, get a few of them in because the buckets are ready for them. I've got them half filled up now ready. I'm literally just waiting for the nights to get a bit warmer. Oh my, what is going on here? Is the polytunnel cover blown away? No, I've just taken it off because it was pretty much ruined, to be honest. It's 5 years old. It was covered in algae, which I couldn't really get rid of. And it had loads of holes in it. It started to rip as well. It was no good really. So we're going to use the cover from the polytunnel which my mum lost last year, last April. It got blown away in the wind and the frame got completely shredded to pieces. But we've still got the cover and we're going to stick that on here. It's a white checkered cover and it should fit on this polytunnel. It's the same size, 3 by 6 meters. One problem we did have when taking the cover off was this blimmin' anti-hotspot tape. It completely degraded, so it literally just fell into millions of pieces. It just completely crumbled, and there was bits of foam and plastic going everywhere. It was like it was snowing. It was that bad. I had to scrape it all off. I'm probably not going to put any on for this cover, simply because I don't think it's worth doing for that, to be honest. If I was putting like an expensive polythene cover on here, I might put hotspot tape on, but I don't think it's going to make that much difference, to be honest, given that it's a cheap cover anyway. Anyway, since taking the cover off, look at that. We did have a few little brassicas in here. I forgot they were actually in here. The pigeons have shredded them to pieces. Look at that. That is what happens when you don't cover your brassicas, and that is why I have to net them every year. But I'm not brave enough to leave the netting off to then show you guys. Here we go. That's what happens. They just go to town on them and they leave nothing left. It's ridiculous, really. Okay, so that's this week's update. Nothing new on the new allotment. That's the exact same as last week, so I'm not going to show you that. But next week, or the week after, fingers crossed, weather permitting, I'm going to be getting these potatoes planted in these buckets. I've got the compost, well, they're half filled with compost, and I've got some more compost to fill the rest of them up, and that should be fine for the potatoes, hopefully. I'll probably get the early ones in and the main crops in as well. I'll just stick them in. Yeah. So loads of sowing this week, loads of planting. I've planted some of the hardier things outside and direct sown some of the hardier things like carrots. I've not done my parsnips yet. I need to get my parsnips in. I've not even done those. I should have really done them when I did the carrots. I'll probably do them next week as well. And I also need to replace the cover here on the polytunnel. I've probably got a few weeks yet. I'm not going to be planting peppers and tomatoes in there for another month at least anyway, so not too urgent with that. But the cover is actually there, and it's being held in place by that wood so it doesn't blow away. It's clean as well. It's not really covered in algae or anything, so that's going to go on there hopefully. No rush though. I might do it next week if I get time. The cover itself isn't damaged. It was the frame that got shredded to pieces, and the cover is mostly all right actually. So that's this week's update. Plenty of things going on. We'll see how the onions and the leeks do outside, and the beetroot. They may sulk for a couple of weeks, but I think they will bounce back and be okay. I'll hold my hand up and say I've not actually hardened them off. I left them outside for a few days. I kept bringing them in the greenhouse and leaving them out for a couple of days, but I didn't really harden them off properly. I never really do actually, to be honest. Every year I grow onions. I plant them outside around the end of March, and I've had plenty of success with onions after not hardening them off. Yeah, plenty of stuff going on at the allotment at the moment. It's just having the time to do it. That is the problem when you work full time, when you've got a family and everything else in life. It gets busy, and then filming videos, which I love doing. I really do love filming videos, but it's time consuming. You know, when actually doing the allotment as well as filming, it can be quite hard work, but I try my best. I'll try and do whatever I can. Yeah, I just wish I had more time. Yeah. If I could be down here every day on the allotment, gardening and filming and making YouTube videos, I would. That is the dream, isn't it? So that's all for now, guys. I think I've done enough talking for one day. I hope you all stay safe and happy gardening.